Hi, I'm Summer Inanen.
Hey, I'm Sarah Ramsden.
And we are nutritionists answering your health questions.
Except today we're not answering a question again. This is something we really need to talk about.
Yes, this is something that we sort of get on and on with our clients about, and so we thought it would be great to make a video, and that's about supporting people. So what do you do if you don't have someone supporting you, or someone who's unsupportive, I should say? And conversely, how can you be a good supporter or cheerleader for the person in your life that's going through health changes or transformation?
Yeah, it might be that you're drastically changing your diet from how it was before. Maybe you have to change some lifestyle stuff, but how do you get people to help you, and how conversely do your friends and family help you out?
Yeah. So some of the things that I hear from my clients are from their partners are things like, oh, here we go again, another diet, or you're gonna eat that butter, that's gonna kill you.
Or why you're so boring? Why are you eating this boring food?
Yeah.
I don't know why changing your diet makes you boring, but I think we'll get into that.
Yeah, or are you sure you should be eating that? Or can't you just have one bite from, when you're out with your friends?
Come on, just one bite.
Yeah, the peer pressure.
It's not gonna hurt you.
So why do people do that? So, there's a lot of reasons. We're not going to go into depth on those, but, things like jealousy, envy. Sometimes, it's like they just feel threatened by you making changes, maybe because they're not at that point yet. So they, feel threatened by
and
your
eating
empowerment.
Food that intuitively is not good for you with someone else gives you permission. So as soon as one of you is ready and is making a change, that makes the other one look really carefully and closely what they're doing, and you just want to hold on to them and be like, no, stay with me.
Yeah.
Stay with me in the cake eating.
Nachos are way more fun when there's two people eating them.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do? If you're that person who's making this health transformation and you don't have a good support system, the number one thing is to tell them to stop. You have to be really open and honest and upfront about it. And sometimes they don't even realize that they're doing these things. Sometimes they don't realize that they're not being a good supportive partner. So it's fair to assume that they maybe don't know. And so you need to tell them to stop and tell them what you need from them. And if it's too difficult to have that in a face-to-face conversation, sometimes it's really helpful to write it in a letter.
Sometimes it can also just be in jest. This is the way you guys have always been, but now that kind of relationship, that kind of banter back and forth is really playing on your insecurities.
Yeah.
So this to saying that this isn't working for me anymore, it's making me kind of feel bad about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you have to be honest about it.
Yeah, and you need to be accountable for yourself. Your friends shouldn't be telling you what you can and can't eat. So if you're out for dinner with friends or at a friend's house and that you get offered the plate of bread, which in the past you've loved, to say, what, I don't feel like it right now. Don't make it this big thing like, oh, I'm on a diet, or I have to go gluten-free, or now I'm this or that. Just say, I just don't feel like it right now.
Yeah. When we have dinner parties together, we don't look at what's on each other's plates or say oh, why aren't you eating this? It's just there, and if the person doesn't want it, they don't want it. And so don't make a big deal out of anything. All you need to say is, I don't feel like that right now. And if they continue to kind of pressure you, say, I'll take some home for later when I'm hungry or when I feel like it. And then you can take it home and get rid of it or whatever you want to do with it.
And move on.
Don't make it about a diet. Don't turn it into a conversation. That stuff is just it just takes the fun out of any kind of relationship, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Be a good role model yourself. So maybe your partner is doing something that you maybe nag him or her about, and so what you can do is also look at the way that you support them and start to be a good role model to them. So act the way that you want to be treated back and lead by example.
Listen to them. Ask them how you can support them in what they're doing. Maybe it's whatever, sport, work, whatever it is that you just don't know much about, but that knowing more about it would be really helpful in that relationship, for sure.
Exactly. And appreciate their point of view and lead them down that path.
Right. Yeah. So if you're someone who has more of a chronic illness, autoimmunity, whatever it might be, and you're learning and you're reading up on stuff and you're starting to realize that okay, maybe I need to ask my boss that, tell them that I can't do these overtime hours anymore. Maybe I need to look for a less demanding job, or maybe I need to change exercise that we're doing, or whatever it is. They're on the outside looking in, so you need to really appreciate their perspective. You're going through a lot of changes and you're experiencing this, but they're just still going about life as normal. I mean, albeit that, you have some stuff going on. They're not going through the same drastic changes. So you need to really appreciate it, because it is hard for someone who loves you to look in and see you suffering. So you have to appreciate that it's not all about you. As hard as it is to go through things, it's very hard to watch someone you love go through it, and it's a lot of worry and concern. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with them too, like they're speaking to their friends, and so just cut them a little bit of slack as well.
Yeah, and again, it goes by having the conversation about it. Like, don't just sit there and feel negative about this other person. Like, actually bring it up and have a conversation about it. And then last but not least, seek support elsewhere. So this is critical. If you don't have a good support system maybe in your house, you got to find one. So whether that's, online through maybe a coach that you can work with, or a mentor, or a close friend, you have to have someone to be accountable to and to support you, and that understands this. And if you don't have that, you need to seek that out. That's one of the first things that, we want our clients to do, because if you don't have that, it's going to be so much harder.
You're going to feel very isolated, and that's not fun.
So how can you be a good supporter? So let's say maybe your partner or your best friend is going through a change, and maybe they're one of those people that's trying the new Dr. Oz diet of the month. You know?
They're always trying to try things and everything. So what do you do?
Yeah, like you want to pull their hair out, but you can't do that.
You have to let them figure it out. People have to go through their own journeys, and just because someone's trying the latest fad, whether it be a supplement that Dr. Oz recommends, God forbid, or whatever it is, they need to go through that process and figure things out, and what does and does not work for themselves, until they eventually, find something that really works for them. And I think that people realize when they have found that thing that's like, okay, I really need to work on this. So you need to just be patient with that process.
Let them figure it out. Don't give your perspective or point of view or challenge it, and support them. So unless they're doing something really crazy, like maybe the tapeworm diet.
Oh. How do you get the tapeworm?
Or they have something that's legitimately a disordered behavior, you should support them. Help them cook, help them purge the pantry.
Ask them questions, learn about it.
Yeah, like they might be taking away some of your fun things, but you can still have them outside of the house. Try and make it the easiest way for them to succeed. Like, make the environment the best possible place for them to succeed. That's how you can be a good supporter and a good partner.
Yeah, there's nothing saying you can't go out and, when you're at work and you have lunch, that you can't go have your favorite whatever it is. But at home, that has to be a helpful and supportive environment.
Yeah, because when you're that person trying to make changes and you have to then cook 3 meals for all the different people in your house, that's going to be really challenging and probably not sustainable.
No, and and everyone's just going to be
like... Never peer pressure your friends. So, again, don't be that person that says, oh, you can't have just one bite.
You're so boring.
Yeah. Maybe they talk like that too.
Come on, just have some.
Yeah. Never peer pressure. Just, food is just food. Like, let people eat what they want to eat, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, like we said, you have to be patient and open-minded about it. Lead by example. So maybe the person in the house is trying a new crazy Dr. Oz supplement. Well, just you keep on making your eggs and spinach and, whatever for breakfast. Lead by example. Show them how you feel good, how these changes have impacted you. Don't include any judgments or criticisms. Let them figure it out, and you be the kind of, the big leader.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What else?
I guess choose your battles. Like, sometimes, people do want to have that conversation. Like, for example, let's say your partner is having a ton of digestive problems and you see them eating a ton of things that cause digestive problems every day, and you really want to educate them and tell them about it. Just be wise, pick your battles, make sure they're open to hearing it. And sometimes they don't want to hear it from you, they want to hear it from somebody else, and so you just kind of have to be patient with that process and know that when the time is right, it will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time. You mention something to your partner, they totally don't listen, and then they come back and say, oh, so-and-so said this to me, and you're like, I said that to you like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
But
especially
anyways.
with your parents, that happens so much. And then last but not least, if you're this person who's in this unsupportive environment, get rid of them. I think sometimes if it's, your partner, that's obviously you're not just going to get rid of them because they don't support the way you're eating, but you have to look at the bigger picture. But maybe it's a friend or a relative. Maybe you don't need them in your life if they're not going to be supporting and cheerleading for you.
Any kind of negative influence, if you've really done your due diligence, sometimes that person just has to go.
Yeah, when all else fails.
And when you remove negativity, people, things, whatever from your life, it creates space for something more positive to come in.
Yeah.
So you'll just immediately meet someone right after. I just strongly believe in that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
So, that was an awesome question from us to us.
I was gonna say it wasn't a question.
But if you guys have any tips on how to be a good supporter or how, any experiences that you've had with it, we'd love to hear it in the comments.
Yes.
And if you have a question for us, we will answer it. Email it to asksummerandsarah@gmail.com and we'll feature you in an upcoming episode.
Yeah, sometimes we just feel the need
To
say
rant.
things. Yeah. So
That's it.
if you're going through something, follow our tips, and likewise if someone you know is making some dietary changes or lifestyle changes, be patient and just do your best to support them in it.
That's it.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.